Hello there, it's Anna here and welcome to Little Crochet Farm. Today we are crocheting together a mini girl elf. Look how cute she is. This girl elf, it's one more pattern for the mini Christmas ornaments amigurumi that it's coming out on this YouTube channel. It's a very nice collection, it's super cute. For her, you'll need a 2mm crochet hook, sports weight yarn, stuffing material, sewing needles, scissors, and a little bit of black thread to embroider the eyes, okay? The exact materials that you can find on the free version of this written pattern that it's on my website. I will leave the link in the description box below this video, okay? But if you wish a PDF printable version of this pattern, you can find on my Etsy shop and on my Ravelry shop, or you can become a Patreon member, and there you'll have access to download the printable version of the patterns that I publish here. So if you join today, you get to download the printable version of this girl elf, as well as all the 4 previous patterns that I publish here on this channel, okay? But if you're watching this video a little bit later, and this pattern is not there available anymore for you to download, don't worry. From the moment you join the Patreon, it will always have at least 4 of the previous patterns that I publish here on this channel, okay? So if that sounds interesting to you, check out my Patreon page. I hope to see you there. Now I'm going to move myself to this corner here of the video and we will crochet this girl elf together. But before I go, I want to talk about the Christmas ebook that I have on my website. It's an original Christmas tale about the gingerbread man who goes out for an adventure. It's a very nice tale. It's original. It's great. I hope you enjoy. I'm sure you will enjoy. And it comes, of course, with 11 crochet characters for you to crochet. It's a very interesting book. It's never seen before, and I hope you enjoy. If that sounds interesting to you, the ebook right now it's with 50% off, okay? You can find the link in the description box below this video. And before I go one more time, I want to mention that many of you are commenting about the gingerbread woman that it is on my background over here. This gingerbread woman, it's not on the YouTube channel nor on my website or stores because she's one of those 11 characters that it's on my ebook. So I hope you check out the ebook. It's a very interesting and you can find all the 11 characters there and make a decision for yourself. I'm sure you will enjoy. Okay, enough of talking. Now I'm going to move myself to the corner and let's start crocheting this beautiful, super cute mini girl elf together. Super good. Let's start here crocheting from the head to the body, and for the head we will work a magic ring. So we're starting with the magic ring and you will work here 6 single crochet inside the magic ring. Okay, something was wrong here with the magic ring. All right. So if this video is too fast for you and you don't know how to work the magic ring, check out the links in the description box below this video. There is always video tutorials of the stitches and techniques that I use here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, to help you out, or you can also leave me a comment in the comment box below with your questions. I will always be happy to help you. All right, now for the second round, you will work 6 increases. That means you'll have 12 single crochet at the end of this round. Okay, so when I say increase, it means you will work 2 single crochet inside each stitch of this round. All right, so here I'm going to work with you a couple of repetitions. So you'll work 2 single crochet inside of one stitch, 2 single crochet inside of other stitch, and so on. And that's how we are working this rounds. Okay, so here we have, you go and you repeat all the way around. And once you're done, this is how it should be looking like. But before we move on here for the third round, I want to show you that I like to double secure the beginning of the yarn. And how we do this is by waving inside this tail inside of the first round. Okay, that's optional to you, but I think it looks nice. I think it looks neat, you know, when you do that. And I just want to show you here that I do that. And I basically do that in the beginning of every stitch that every detail that I work. Okay, now let's add here a stitch marker. In my case, I like to work with just a piece of a different color yarn, and we're moving on for the third round. Here you'll work 1 single crochet, 1 increase. You'll repeat 6 times and you should have a total of 18 stitches at the end of this round. Okay, so work your repetitions here. So 1, and here it is the first single crochet, here is the increase, and you will repeat all the way around until the end, okay, or 6 times. And once you're done here, we will work again one more round with increases. So for round number 4, you will work 2 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat 6 times, and you should have 24 stitches at the end of this round. All right. So now let's move on here. So 1 and 2, and this is my increase, work all the way until the end, and I will catch you up here. Great, so this is how it should be looking like. We are working here one more round, round number 5 with increases. So here you will work 3 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat 6 times or all the way until the end, and you should have 30 stitches at the end of the round. All right, so I'm working here the first repetition with you, and this is the last round with increases. So 1, 2, and 3, and here is my increase, work all the way until the end, and I will catch you up for the next round. Now, once you're done with round number 5, we will work a couple of repetitions here. So round number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, you will work just 30 single crochet, okay? Very simple, very easy, just 30 single crochet. And it's a couple of repetitions here. I will catch you up for round 11. So once you're done, this is how it should be looking like. So this is round number 5 with the increases. And then you have here round number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Now let's move on here for round 11. We will start working decreases. Okay. So here you will work 3 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat 6 times, and you should have 24 stitches at the end of this round. Now, for amigurumi crochet toys, we work with invisible decrease, which is when we grab, like you're seeing here, just the front loop of the next 2 stitches, and then you work a single crochet. So the difference here for the invisible decrease is that you grab just the front loop. If this video is too fast for you, you can check out the links in the description box. There is a video tutorial only talking about the invisible decrease. All right, moving on here for round number 12. You will work 2 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat all the way around, and you should have 18 stitches here at the end of this round. All right, so I work your repetitions here, and let's move on for round number 13. Here you will work 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat 6 times, and you should have a total of 12 stitches. And that's when we will stop decreasing, because we'll start working the body right away. Okay, so work here your decreases, and I will catch you up for the next round. So you have here 1 single crochet, this is my decrease. Now, when you are working the last decrease of the round, you will work a color change, because now we are starting to work here her body, okay? Now let's cut this yarn over here. You can just give a simple knot. It will be facing inside of the toy, nobody will see it, so just make sure that it's very nice and tight and it will not unravel. So now for round 14, you'll work 12 back loop slip stitch, okay? So here you're grabbing just the back loop of the stitch. So here, back loop, slip stitch, back loop, and slip stitch. So one stitch, you have both loops, right? You have 2 loops, the back and the front loop. So I'm going to show you here. When you grab a stitch, you grab it like this, right? This is with 2 loops on your needle. You can see it here. Now for this round, you will grab just the back loop. Remember that we will use this a couple of times. All right, so continue here working your back loop slip stitch, and I will catch you up for the next round. Great, now let's give it a stop here to add a little bit of stuffing material. Add as much stuffing material as you go. It's very important for you to add stuffing material here, because once we continue working out with the body, if you didn't, once you arrive at the end, it will be very hard for you to add stuffing material, you know, all the way up to the head. All right, because we start working the body here now. Okay. Now for the body, you will work in this remaining front loop in beige. So the remaining front loop from round 13, okay? So now for round 15, you will work in the front loop, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat 6 times, and you should have 18 stitches at the end of this round. Now, Just make sure you are grabbing the remaining front loop, is the one in beige. You are completely ignoring the round 14 that will be facing, it will be hidden inside of the toy. Okay, I like to hide rounds inside of toys, if you haven't noticed yet. If you just arrived here on this YouTube channel, many of my patterns I like to give some effect hiding rounds inside. Never mind, I'm just showing you here a couple of repetitions. You work 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat all the way around. You can even add your stitch marker if you want. And here I wanted to show you, this is the round 14, the one with the back loop slip stitch. So the slip stitch is facing inside of the toy. This effect will give a very nice sharp division between the head and the body. So it's a sharp neck that we are searching for. All right, now for round 16, you'll work 18 single crochet, okay? So work here your 18 single crochet, very easy, very simple. And once you're done here, we'll work for round 17, 2 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat 6 times, and you should have here 24 stitches at the end of this round, okay? So work your repetitions here, and I will catch you up once you're done. So we can see here 1 and 2, this is my increase, work all the way around, and I will catch you up there. Great, now let's move on here. We will work a color change when you arrive in the last stage of the round. We will work with the brown. Now you'll work for round 18, 24 single crochet. What we are starting to work now here is the belt, okay? So you'll work here normal, just 24 single crochet. Then you were back on working with the red, all right? Because we are starting to work, work an effect here for the belt. And for round 19, remember that you will work 24 back loop slip stitch. I say remember that because once we are done, we are going back on this round over here, the round 19, okay? So work here 24 back loop slip stitch. And once again, I'm going to show you here very fast. When you have a stitch and you grab it, this is how we grab it normally, a stitch, right? You have it here, the front loop and the back loop. So this here is the front loop. We are grabbing just the back loop, okay? We will have a couple of front loop remainings here that we will use later on to work a couple of details for this elf girl. Now you can cut the brown. Once you arrive at the last stitch, the last slip stitch of this round, we will work a color change and start working with 24 back loop single crochet in red. All right. So for round 20, you are working not in red, in green, because we are starting to work her pants or something like this. So she's wearing a shirt in red and her pants is green. You can cut the red yarn. We won't need the red yarn anymore. Now let's move on here. You can add a stitch marker for a couple of repetitions. So for round 21 and 22, you will work with 24 single crochet. All right. So work here your 24 single crochet for round 21 and 22, and I will catch you up here for round 23. Now your work, once again, grabbing just the back loop, but now you are an expert in back loops. So you'll work 2 single crochet, 1 decrease, and you should have here 18 stitches at the end of this round. Okay, I'm going to show you here one more time these repetitions with you because I mentioned in the beginning of this video that when you work a decrease, it means you will grab just the front loop of the stitch and work an invisible decrease, right? In this case specifically, because we are grabbing just the back loop, you will work the invisible decrease, grabbing only the back loop as well, all right? So that's how you should be working. Just do the same invisible decrease, but instead of grabbing just the front loop, you grab just the back loop, all right? We want that remaining front loop here of round 23, all right? Now let's move on here for round 24. You will work 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat 6 times, and you should have 12 stitches at the end of this round. And that's where we will stop with this toy and cut this yarn and start fastening off, okay? But of course, before we fasten this off, we need to add a little bit of stuffing material, all right? So add here a couple of stuffing material, add as much as you want. Here, don't add too much because we don't want a bump here at the bottom of this toy, all right? So add enough so it's not like going too much around, okay, because we want this to have a nice sharp edge, but we will do this detail in white later on. Okay, so now here, for you fasten off this crochet toy, you will grab just the front loop of the stitch, okay? So grab just the front loop of the stitch, front loop of all the 12 stitches. And once you're done grabbing all of these front loops, you will pull this yarn tight, closing this ending of this toy, okay? And now we will weave in inside of this last round. And you can now hide this tail inside of the toy a little bit, and you can cut this later on and hide the tail inside of the toy. Look at this, so cute. Now what we are going to do is start working the details. So you position the head of the toy towards you, all right? So now we are looking into the back. With the red, you will introduce the red yarn one more time here, but in the remaining front loop of round 19. You remember that round 19 will work with the slip stitch, and then for round 20 we'll work with the back loop in green. So you have the remaining front loop here in red. You attach your yarn there and you will work 3 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat all the way around. You should have 30 stitches at the end of this round, but it's not important how many stitches you have here because we are just working one round to give here this detail that the belt is tight in her shirt and we have the remaining of the shirt here, the edge of the shirt. All right. So work here your repetitions, 3 single crochet, 1 increase, grabbing the front loop of the round, the one in red, and once you're done here working all of these repetitions, we can cut this yarn and we will use this to invisible fasten this off. And how we do this is we skip the first stitch, we introduce this tail here in the second stitch of the round, and then you go back and introduce here in the last stitch of the round, grabbing just the back loop. Okay, so this is how you do the invisible fastening off here in a round. And we can hide this tail, we can bring this tail here outside of one stitch of the toy. And we will do the same with the beginning of the tail. Here, this other one, so we can fasten them off together. So we will bring here outside of the same stitch. You can give here now a nice tight knot. And you can cut this yarn and hide this knot inside of the toy, okay? So this will make sure that all of the tails will be in its place. So that's why we're giving a tight knot over there. All right, so now once again, you'll move her head towards you, okay? And now we will grab the remaining front loop of round 23, I think 23, where we work the invisible decreases, right? And we leave just the front loop in green. So now you will work 24 single crochet. That's it. So you have one more remaining front loop here in the body, which is the one here that we work with the decreases, grabbing just the back loop. Remember? So you have the remaining front loop here of the round 22. So work here your 24 single crochet all the way around. And once you're done, we will again work a invisible fastening off, which is when you skip the first stitch, you introduce this yarn here on the second stitch of the round, you go back and introduce your needle here in the back loop of the stitch. Okay, now once again we can bring this yarn outside here of the bottom. And we can now bring also the other tail here outside of that same stitch, give a tight knot and hide that inside of the toy, like we did with the red, okay? So now let's move on here, we'll start working the arms. And we'll start once again with a magic ring, and you will work 6 single crochet inside this magic ring. So these arms, it's a very tiny detail, and we have a lot of repetitions. We don't have increases here, so I will work these arms together with you a little bit more slow because we have too many stitches one on top of each other, and I just want to make sure that you can see some details. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we can pull this yarn tight, and let's move on here for the next round. For the next round, you will again work 6 single crochet. We are just working with 6 single crochet for the arms, okay? So you can work here. I will work together with you because again, as I told you, this is a small detail and you have a bunch of stitches one on top of the other. And all right, I will just work here all the 6 single crochet. Maybe I should talk, you know, I'm a very talkative person. I generally talk more than necessary while I'm shooting. All right, once again here I want to show you that I like to double secure at the beginning of the yarn, and let's wave in this tail here inside of the first round. And that's enough. Now you can see here, this is what I want to show you. This is one thing I want to show you. The tension of the yarn is so tight that it's pulling the wrong side out, right? So we need to organize these stitches here, bringing the right side out. So just pull and organize the stitches to be on top of each other, but with the right side facing out, all right? Now we'll move on here. For the third round, we are working with white. So let's work a color change. And for the third round here, you'll again work with 6 single crochet, okay? So now you work 6 single crochet, but in white, all right? We are working a bunch of color changes here. There is a video tutorial only about how to change colors in crochet toys. And I show you the 4 most used ways and popular ways to change colors. And I like the second one, although for this tutorial we are using the most simple way to change colors, okay? All right, once you arrive in the last round here, we are changing to red because we are working on the sleeves. So our shirt is in red, so we want our sleeves to be in red as well. So once again, you will work 6 single crochet, and we are approaching here the ending of these arms. So we are left with all of these tails of yarn. You can cut this off. You don't need to add stuffing material here. The detail is it's pretty small, and just those remaining of yarn will be the stuffing material inside of the arms. Now you have, let me just hide this inside. You have it here 6 single crochet around, right? When you fold this arm in half, you have 3 single crochet in one side, 3 on the other side, and we will crochet these sides together, closing these arms, okay? So for round number 5, you will work here 3 single crochet. My battery is starting to run low. Okay. For the first and for the last and the first stitch, they are very tight together. So you need to just make sure here that you're grabbing the last and the first stitch. And once you're past that, all the other stitches are much easier for you to grab. I just want to bring up attention here for the first and the last. It might be a little bit harder. All right, and this is how it should be looking like. And you make another one following the same instructions. Ta-da! Now let's move on here. We'll start crocheting the hat, okay? So once again, we're starting with a magic ring or a magic circle. And we will work here 6 single crochet with a surprise inside this magic ring, okay? So work your 6 single crochet here. Now for this tutorial, I'm showing you I'm working with the hat for the pom-pom, kind of, and then the grain for the body of the hat, and then we are again with the red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can pull this yarn tight. Now let's close this detailed magic ring over here. And we'll move on here for the second round. And for the second round, we will work again 6 single crochet. For this girl elf that I'm holding here in my arms, in my hands, I work the pom-pom in green, the body of the hat in red, and then in green again. So I just did the opposite. I worked a couple of girl elves, you know, so each of them I made in different colors. You can change now, before we move on for the third round here, to the green or to whichever color that you are using to crochet her hat. And we will start moving on here. You can cut the red. We will use again, you know, the red, like the contrast color. We will use here again for the fringe here of the hat. But I like to cut this and introduce later on because we have a long way, okay? So now for the third round, we will work with back loop slip stitch. So once again, here we are working with the slip stitch. So by now you should know pretty well how to work the slip stitches. Or maybe, of course, you knew it before, you know, but here we are working a couple of rounds with grabbing just the back loop of the stitch, right? Okay. Now for round number 4, you will work with the back loop again, but we are working with single crochet, okay? So work here your 6 back loops single crochet. It might be a little bit tough to grab the back loop here because we are working with a slip stitch. Slip stitch tends to tighten a little bit of the piece that you are working, you know, and it's a small detail. So just make sure here that you're grabbing and count how many stitches you have at the end of the round, so you make sure that you have 6 stitches at the end. Now I'm cutting these tails here just because I want you to have more neat look of what we are working here, but you don't need to cut the tail if you don't want, because this will be facing inside of the head of the hat, so it won't be seen. All right, once you work here your 6 single crochet, let's move on for round number 6. You'll work 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat 3 times, and you should have 9 stitches here at the end of this round. Okay, so here let's work the repetitions here together. So it's just 2 repetitions, right? And just 3 repetitions, 2 single crochet, 1 increase. And you should have here 9 stitches at the end of the round. And now for round 7, 8, and 9, you will work just 9 single crochet. So we will work here 3 rounds with only 9 single crochet. Very easy. And then we will move on here for the round number 10, where you will work increase again. So here you will work 2 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat 3 times, and you should have 12 stitches at the end of this round. So work here your 3 repetitions all the way around, and I'll catch you up here. All right, now let's move on here for round 11. You will work 12 single crochet, okay? Just work 12 single crochet. Here we are approaching to the end of this hat. We will start drastically increasing stitches here until we achieve the size of the head. All right, now for round 12, you will work 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat 6 times, and you should have 18 stitches at the end of this round. Okay, so here we have work all the way around, 1 single crochet, 1 stitch, and I will catch you up for the next round. Here for round 13, you'll work 2 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat 6 times, and you should have 24 stitches at the end of this round. All right, and then we can move on here. So 1 and 2, my increase, repeat all the way until the end. All right, now for round 14, you will work 3 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat 6 times, and you should have a total here of 30 stitches at the end of the round, and then we will achieve the size of the head that we are searching for. Okay, so we have 30 stitches in the head, we'll have 30 stitches in the hat as well. Repeat all the way around. And once you're done here, we will work a couple of rounds with 30 single crochet. So you will work round 15, 16, 17, and 18, just 30 single crochet. All right, so work all your repetitions here, and I will catch you up for the next round. Great, now we are changing back to the contrast color, the one that we use for the pom-poms. All right, fake pom-pom. And you can cut the yarn. I will just give a very tight knot here, so it's easier for me to work for the next round. Now you will work here for round 19, 30 back loop slip stitch. Okay, here we go again with the back loop and slip stitch. All right, so work your repetitions here, and I will catch you up for round 20. Okay, it's so beautiful, the back loop slip stitch. We will work later on here with a double crochet, so get ready. All right, work all the way around. Now that we are at the end here, you will chain 2, and then you'll work in grabbing just the front loop of the stitch, 5 double crochet, 1 increase. Okay, so let's work here together. Yarn over the needle inside the front loop, pull up a loop, yarn over the needle inside the first 2 loops, yarn over the needle inside the last 2 loops on your needle. And then you will work here 5 double crochet, so we have 3. Now I'm going to move a little bit faster here with you. and then you will work 1, 2, 3, 5. You'll work here a increase double crochet. So if you're working with double crochet, means we will increase with double crochet. That chain 2 in the beginning of the round does not count as a stitch, but it doesn't matter here. You can count how many stitches you have at the end of this round. You should have 35, but we are just working this round and then we are done. So if you have more stitches here, is not a problem. Now we'll join here with a slip stitch. You can cut this yarn. And we will once again invisible fasten off here. So that slip stitch, it's a little bit unnecessary. You don't need to do that, but since I did, let's move on. So you skip the first stitch of the round, you introduce your yarn in the second stitch of the round, and then you go back to the last stitch of the round and you introduce the yarn in grabbing just the back loop of the stitch, okay? Now we can wave in this tail here, and this is how it should be looking like. So cute. Now let's move on here. We will later on sew the tip later on. Now, what we are doing here, you will find the 10 stitches in front of her head, okay? You will mark them, and we will crochet in the remaining stitches behind. So we are working now the hair, okay? So mark those stitches in front of the face, introduce here your yarn in the stitches remaining on the back. Now you will chain 6. We are working with the brown, so you can work any color you think it might look nice for your elf girl. So here you will skip your first chain. You will work 5 slip stitch. So let's move slow here. So 5 slip stitch, and once you arrive in the foundation here of the hat, you will skip 1 and you will join with the slip stitch. So here, we work here 5 slip stitch, so you skip 1 stitch, you join on the next one with a slip stitch. So let's work here once more. So you work here, chain 6, right? Once again, so you chain 6, skip the first chain, work 5 slip stitch. Once you arrive in the foundation, here you skip 1 stitch of the foundation here of the hat. So here, let's skip 1 and you join on the next stitch with a slip stitch. Okay? And that's very simple, very easy. You'll work this repetition all the way around. Okay? You leave just the stitches here in front of the face. So when we sew here, the hair is not on her eyes. All right? Well, if you want some effect, you can add it, and then you will need to just place the hair later and sew it a little bit. But what I want here is avoid sewing as maximum as I can. Okay, so now we can fasten this off. And we will move on here and start assembling this elf girl. Okay, now we'll start with the arms. So you will find here the central position here of the back, just as a direction of where you should sew the arms. If you want the exactly place where I sew the arms, you can find in the free version of this written pattern on my website. But here I just want to show you a very fast, and it's extremely simple. You have just 3 stitches in the arms, right? So it's super easy. You grab 1 stitch from the arm, 1 stitch from the body, and you sew these arms very fast. So here I will show you here the first repetitions. Bring this yarn outside of some stitch in the body of this elf girl, but don't cut the tail, because when we sew the second hand, we will use these 2 remaining tails to tie the knot. So I'm going to show you here. Now that you finished sewing both arms and you brought the remaining yarn outside of the same stitch, you can give a tight knot here and you can move on and cut this tail and hide the knot inside of the tie. Look at this, she's so cute. All right, now we'll add the hat on her head, and we will sew this with the remaining tail that we have from the hat. We will sew the hat on her head. And here what I want to show you is that you don't need to you don't need to sew all the stitches here from the head, okay? You can just give a couple, maybe 6 stitches all the way around her head. You don't need to sew all the 30 stitches that you have, okay? That will make your job very easier, much faster. It's unnecessary, the reason here that we need to do is that it will not come off, okay? And once you're done, you don't need to sew nothing from the hair. It will just be standing there. It's very easy detail. Now we are working here the collar of her shirt. You'll chain 16, okay? You will skip the first chain and you will work 1 slip stitch. You will chain 1 half double single crochet, half double crochet, half double single, chain 1 slip stitch, okay? It's very easy. So here I'm in the chain 1 and now we will join with a slip stitch. All right, so you repeat this again. 1 slip stitch, chain 1 half double crochet. All right, chain 1 and 1 with slip stitch. And you repeat all the way around until the end of these chains, okay? And it's just that row that we are working here. Once you're done, this is how it should be looking like. You can cut this tail and we will fasten here on top of her arms, all right? So just add it here in her collar and we will sew this here on her neck. Okay, super easy. I will show you here how it's done because you don't need nothing fancy here. You'll just join the 2 edges together. And you can give here a knot. You once again will bring this tail outside of the same stitch somewhere here, maybe in the bottom, you know. So you can give a tight knot and this will be remaining on its place. So now I'm just giving here a tight knot. And that's that. Great. Now I want to show you here that I will sew the tip here of the hat on her head. So I'm just going to show you here how I do this because it's very simple. You just introduce a little bit of yarn and you give a tight knot and then you hide this knot here inside of her hat. And that's that. Very simple. And we'll start working now the final details here. We'll embroider the eyes, and I like to embroider the eyes of my toys. If you're using the plastic eyes, just scroll down in the written pattern all the way until the end, and you'll see exactly where I'm sewing these eyes. Now, how I do this is with the black thread. I just work a bunch of straight lines repetitions here. So work a bunch of straight lines, and go using your thumb to direct where you want the thread to be. And when you achieve the size and the shape you want, you move on for the next eyes. And here one thing is, again, bring the yarn to outside in the same stitch so you can give a tight knot, all right? Now with the piece of yellow, we are working the buckle here of the belt. And it's very simple, I just make a couple of straight lines here with the length of 1 stitch. And I embroider that as a detail. Once again, we bring all the remaining tails outside of the same stitch and give a tight knot. Now for the ears, because it's an elf, we cannot leave it without the ears, right? It's very simple, the ears here. So you will chain 3, you will skip the first chain and you will work 2 slip stitch, okay? That's very simple and super easy, and that's that. And after that, we will just cut this yarn, make 2, and we will sew it here on the side of her face. So here it's very simple. So you mark here the front of her face. So the limit here is the hair. you'll sew this ear in the hair. Look at this, so tiny, so cute, super small. So this is one, this is the other one, and my battery finished before I shot. But if you need help on sewing the ears of this elf girl, you can find you can ask me in the comment box below, but there is also a video tutorial for the elf boy, which also I sew here the ears on him, okay? But it's very simple, very practical, so just like three stitches on the side of her eyes, you can sew this very tiny little ears, but we want the ears because it's an elf, right? It needs to have. Well, that's that for me today. I hope you enjoyed crocheting this elf girl with me. I hope you had some fun. If this pattern was useful to you, consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. Leave me a like or a comment in the comment box below. All of these actions help you to support my channel, and I thank you very much for doing so. Now I hope to see you for the next week. Bye!